Kirby has become one of Nintendo's most popular mascots in over decades. He has so much merchandise it's not even funny. I've collected so much Kirby stuff from GameStop and other places that it's insane. Me and my brother, who is one of the biggest Kirby fans ever, have played so many Kirby games. Hell, we even watched the Kirby Right Back at Ya cartoon on 4Kids TV. It wasn't particularly great, but we loved it. It was Kirby. Remember when Saturday mornings was a thing back in the day? Fun times. Now in terms of Nintendo platformers, I'm more of a Mario and especially Donkey Kong fan, but Kirby has ranked up as one of my favorite Nintendo franchises of all time. Today we're going to be talking about Kirby's first entry in the series, Kirby's Dream Land. Now the first time I played this game was actually at a babysitter's house. I don't think this was the first Kirby game I ever played, because I remember playing Kirby's Dream Course and Kirby's Avalanche with my brother. I think how I got into Kirby was because my little brother took a liking to the character, and we started renting said Kirby games from a video store. What really drew me into Kirby was the mystical world that he was living in called Dreamland. When I look at the backgrounds of a Kirby game, Dreamland looked just so mesmerizing, so peaceful, so colorful. A very happy place that as a child you can't help but wonder what would it be like to live over there. Dreamland just looks so welcoming as a platformer, cozy, if you will. But let's get into the development. Who created Kirby? Well, Masahiro Sakurai. He needs no introduction. You guys all know him from Super Smash Bros. But you all also know that he is the creator of Kirby. Sakurai was literally 23 years old when he first joined HAL Laboratory. Nintendo at the time was looking for a game that literally anyone can enjoy, and that's where Sakurai came up with a project proposal which would later become the first Kirby game. Though Kirby was his first game he ever developed, he received a special thanks for the Super Nintendo dungeon crawler Arcana, a game that was also developed by HAL Laboratory and released several months before Kirby. Interestingly enough, Kirby on the Western box art of Kirby's Dream Land was actually white, whereas in the Japanese box art he was pink from the get-go. Apparently there was a debate between Sakurai and Shigeru Miyamoto on whether Kirby should be pink or yellow. Sakurai wanted pink and Miyamoto wanted yellow. I honestly think making Kirby yellow would have made him too similar to Pac-Man since both characters are round. Plus, Kirby is shaped more like a gumball as opposed to a pizza. Another fun fact, Kirby during his development stages was originally going to be called Popopo. Well, according to Miyamoto, they decided on the name Kirby based on a lawyer named John Kirby, a lawyer who successfully helped Nintendo during a lawsuit against Universal when the company was being sued for trademark infringement between Donkey Kong and King Kong. That's kind of a weird naming origin story for Kirby. You would think he would be named by the comic book artist Jack Kirby. Then again, does anybody in Japan know who Jack Kirby is? Anyway, the story takes place in an enchanted planet called Dreamland. One day, the greedy penguin King Dedede steals all the food from Dreamland as well as these mystical features called sparkling stars which are given to his minions. A young pink heroic puffball named Kirby decides to find the sparkling stars and food, which I'm pretty sure that's Kirby's biggest priority given the pink blob's hunger, and put an end to Dedede's antics. Kirby's typically known for its simplistic stories, although future games make a little more effort. But being the first game in the series, let alone a Game Boy title, it's as minimal as you can get. But hey, gameplay matters more than story. I'm sure many of you that are watching this video are huge Kirby fans, but if you're new to the series, Kirby is a side-scroller platformer going from point A to point B of which you face a boss encounter at the end. Kirby can walk, run, jump, and float in the air, which comes in handy. Because he's the equivalent of a balloon, he can infinitely float in the air. With this move you can bypass many obstacles below, though when you're in the air you also have to avoid airborne aerial enemies or projectiles. Kirby can also inhale enemies and items and spit them right back at other enemies or just swallow them. Interestingly enough, Kirby's well-known gimmick to copy certain enemies' abilities after swallowing them isn't present here. That wouldn't be introduced until his next adventure, Kirby's Adventure for the NES. You swallow an enemy and nothing happens, they're just digestion. You know, that's probably a disturbing image looking deep into it. There's a total of 5 levels: Green Greens, Castle Lololo, Float Islands, Bubbly Clouds, and Mount Dedede. When you get to the end of a stage, you fight off bosses facing the likes of the staple Wispy Woods, Lololo and Lalala, Kabulo, I never knew that was his name, and Krako. Wispy is what you expect if you fought him in another Kirby game. The Lolos are easy but take a bit of patience. Kabulo was the most interesting because it felt reminiscent of the fights with Dragon Zamasu and Tatanga from Mario Land. Kracko I think gave me a little bit of trouble only because it was a bit unpredictable of his pattern of what he was going to do next. In the 5th level you go through a Mega Man style boss gauntlet before facing DDD himself. His fight was kind of underwhelming, but it didn't detract from my enjoyment of the game. But after you defeat the Fat Penguin, Kirby takes the castle by turning into a massive hot air balloon airlifting it, and drops the food all across Dreamland. Wow, I expected him to eat the whole thing. I apologize, Kirby. You truly are the hero everyone needs. DDD lands, throws a temper tantrum, and runs off. What I find really funny is that this was really the only game where he was a legit antagonist. In future games he would fight Kirby over misunderstandings or certain circumstances. But Kirby's Dreamland is still a fun time if a bit on the short side. The most vanilla Kirby and a simplistic platformer. It may not be something you'll go back to unless you have a lot of nostalgic memories for it, but it's a recommendation if you enjoy Kirby even without his world famous copy ability. Good game, but there's much better Kirby games out there, and I mean a lot. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos to come. My name is BJsPool and I will see you guys later. Bye bye. Oh, and eat some protein and some veggies so you don't end up as fat as Kirby or DDD.